In the fallout from the Skripal case, the West has expelled over 160 Russian diplomats. Russia has responded in kind, sending approximately the same number back to Australia, Canada, Europe and the US. Russia is accused of involvement in the poisoning of former Russian intelligence agent Sergei Skripal in Britain, using a chemical substance from the Novichok group. Russia says that's impossible, as all Soviet chemical weapons programs were halted in 1992, with all stockpiles destroyed by 2017. Vil Mirzayanov, a chemist who is among the developers of Novichok, tells TV channels, particularly Western ones, that it's possible some of the substance still remains in Russia.
Это не должна быть большая доза. Это не нужно быть там, чтобы, как для уничтожения тараканов, допустим.
As an ideologically sound counterweight to Mirzayanov's story, Leonard Rink, another Novichok developer, was put on Russian federal TV.
Вещество сделать могли все. После книги все могли это сделать.
Documents from the criminal case seen by Novaya Gazeta and OCCRP indicate that synthesis of highly toxic substances continued in Russian state labs after 1992, and that hundreds of doses ended up in the hands of figures tied to organized crime. According to the investigation, Rink sold them to the criminals himself. Experts confirmed to us that these substances belonged to the Novichok group. In 1995, banker Ivan Kveledy was poisoned in Moscow, in one of the first cases of murder by chemical substance in modern Russian history. Thanks to expert assessments, we now know the poison, which was applied to his office telephone, belonged to the Novichok group. During the investigation into Kveledy's death, Rink testified that he had received and sold poisons, the contents of which was a state secret. One of the criminal cases into their distribution was classified top secret and consequently closed. On the basis of his questioning and documents from the investigation, Novaya Gazeta and OCCRP published the story of how one of the most dangerous chemical substances from a state lab ended up in the hands of criminals. 1994, Shikhany, Saratov region, Russia. The 48-year-old Rink works in this closed city as head of a lab at the State Institute for Organic Synthesis Technology, which develops chemical weapons, including the Novichok series of poisons. The substance which I was going to make is known to science. It was synthesized several times by the Institute's specialists. Its contents are a state secret. This substance is distinguished from military-grade substances by its chemical formula. However, by toxicity, it is comparable with VX, a military-grade nerve agent. Rink gave a colleague at the lab the task of synthesizing the substance. To stop my colleague from worrying, I told her that it was required by the military. This was an unofficial order, as I didn't want any third parties to know. She didn't object, since I told her that she would be paid for the work, and she really needed the money. We poured it out into vials, about 0.25 grams each. I took the vials home with me and put them in my garage. To obtain this powerful poison from Rink, and for what price? According to Rink's own testimony, for 100 doses of the substance in the vial, he received from $1,500 to $1,800 US. I placed the vial in the body of a pen. It was thin enough to fit inside. According to case materials, the FSB stated that Rink prepared 8 to 9 vials of the poison. The first to receive the poison, according to Rink, was his acquaintance, Ryabov. I was afraid of Ryabov's threats, as he was connected with criminal elements, so I agreed to get the poison for him. In spring 1995, a man named Artur Talanov also acquired a vial of the substance from Rink, as the investigation document put it, for self-defense. He would later take part in an attempted robbery on a cash delivery van in Estonia. The FSB also established that in autumn 1995, Rink gave some of the substance to individuals of Chechen origin in Moscow. However, the secret case against Rink was closed due to an inconsistency in the timing of these events. Rink was therefore found to have no further links to Kveledy's murder. However, case materials still indicated that the substance he produced in 1994 and the one used to poison Kveledy may have been one and the same. What happened to the rest of the vials containing this poison? Were they seized, or did they travel the world? If contained in a sealed vial, experts say the substance can remain lethal for 25 to 30 years, even if it loses its initial potency. Here is how Novichok kills, based on the conclusions of the forensic medical examination of Kveledy's death. After contact with the fatal 0.0025 gram dose that killed Kveledy, the victim will first feel queasy, and then experience discomfort in the heart. The victim then goes pale, his eyes darken and then cross. These are the first symptoms of poisoning, which can last for around an hour and a half. A sudden loss of consciousness follows, then a deep coma. Periodic tonic-clonic seizures then occur, a severe form of spasmodic attacks. The pupils practically cease reacting to light. the heartbeat is disturbed. At the first stage of intoxication, this leads to tachycardia of up to 110 beats a minute and an increase in blood pressure. As the severity of the poisoning increases, bradycardia follows. Heartbeats drop to around 40 a minute, and blood pressure to 80/40. Next comes cerebral and pulmonary edema. As a result of the disturbance to the nervous, cardiovascular, and respiratory systems, death soon follows. When I handed over the vials, I naturally gave detailed information about how to handle the substance safely. I said that the substance takes effect upon contact with the skin or when it enters the body in food. I also said that the signs of death would resemble heart disease. According to a specialist who took part in Rink's interrogation, if applied to the skin, just 1/100th of the substance contained in one of Rink's vials would be enough to kill a person weighing 80 to 90 kilograms.